fans. He's Dustin Mcknight.
He's Matt Smith.
And we are wrestling. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is our first show, April 17th. We are here to talk about all things pro wrestling, WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Independence. We even like to talk about a lot of the stuff that's in the past, old WCW, NWA.
Of course.
And, we're just here to entertain, just like anything in wrestling. So, Dustin, why don't you get us started? Tell me a little bit about how me and you actually met.
Well,
great story.
Me and Matt actually met back in 93, 94. We was in 5th grade, and we had a buddy of ours named Mark Amons. I was friends with him.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he passed away. Rest in peace to Mark. Mark was tired of Matt talking about wrestling all the time to him. So one day we was in line getting ready to eat lunch, and Mark says, you know what, if you want to talk to anybody about wrestling, talk to him. And he pointed to me. Ever since then, we've been cool as a fucking fan.
Best friends for 20 years.
We're talking about wrestling every single day for the next 20 years. And here we are.
There's a lot of shows like this that are viral on the internet.
YouTube, yeah.
But our combined experience, we have a combined 50+ years of experience of knowledge of pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's like this video I watched
wrestling.
on YouTube. Watched a video of these guys doing a video like we are doing right now, and yeah, two guys that maybe know each other for 2 months or 3 months. Get out of here with that shit.
So we like to think, if you want to skip through all the bullshit, that we're the guys to watch.
Yeah.
So anyway, first up, WrestleMania 29.
WrestleMania 29. I love WrestleManias. Been watching
Outdoor.
Yeah.
I know you love the outdoor events. I do too.
I love outdoor events. I've been watching WrestleMania. My first one to watch was WrestleMania 5, 1989. That was my very first one I watched.
Probably the first one you remember.
Well, it was the first one I watched, actually. It
really
was. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it sure was. And I tell you what, wasn't really feeling this WrestleMania too much. It had its moments. I like the Undertaker.
It's hard.
CM Punk match.
Yeah, it's hard. A lot of the stuff gets repetitive.
Yeah.
The Undertaker and CM Punk, great match, and I'm saying this because no disrespect to the matches with Triple H. I love those matches; they were great. Yeah. But the first one, no holds barred. The next one's Hell in a Cell. This actually brought it back to a wrestling match.
Right.
Reminded me of the Shawn Michaels matches, which of course were epic.
Yeah.
I think the CM Punk match pretty much stole the show.
Yeah, of course.
I know a lot of people like John Cena and The Rock, which I have respect for both of those. I know you do. You have respect for them, but we don't really care for that because, The Rock, he leaves for 10 years, comes back, wins a belt, doesn't have to defend it, doesn't have to, all he has to do is make an appearance on Raw and sing a couple songs on a guitar.
Yeah.
It's not wrestling. That's what we're here to show you, that we are wrestling and we love pro wrestling. But WrestleMania 29, it could have been better, but they seem to break the record every year for attendance.
Yeah. That part they're doing very well. It seems like.
All right. I know you was watching the Azad Center in New Jersey. Yeah. I know you remember those fans. Dolph Ziggler, Money in the Bank.
The fans that night were fucking going apeshit, weren't they?
Yeah. Yes.
But Dolph Ziggler, man, when he cashed his Money in the Bank, man, that place erupted when he won, man. And I was feeling that, man, because I think Dolph is. I like Dolph, man.
I like Dolph Ziggler too.
I think Dolph can go, man. I mean, he can definitely talk. I mean, man, he's got the moves, he's got the skills. You know who kind of reminds me of, don't you?
I know what you're gonna say.
Kind of reminds me of Kurt Hennig a little
Mr.
bit.
Perfect.
Yes, he does.
Even when it comes to when they've been wrestling Kurt Hennig, Dolph Ziggler, and they've been wrestling for about 30 minutes, the hair gets all wild out of place. Yeah. Even to that little detail.
Now, don't get me wrong, people out there. He definitely isn't Kurt Hennig.
No, he's not Kurt Hennig.
But, nobody can be a Kurt Hennig. But I'm just trying to say he kind of reminds me of a little.
He is the future. I think we both can agree that he's probably the future.
He definitely is. Yeah.
What I would like to see happen is him to bring that World Heavyweight title back to the status that Edge had it whenever Edge wore it. Because it's kind of, no disrespect to Sheamus or Christian, the World Heavyweight title, it almost seems, and maybe it's because CM Punk's epic year-long reign, he kind of made the World Heavyweight title look like almost like in the same league as the Intercontinental title. I think Dolph Ziggler is the man. If he will quit doing that stupid fucking entrance, where he turns the belt around with the plate belt side hanging on his ass, very disrespectful.
I don't really care for that neither, but hey.
But if anybody can bring that title back, the standards of it back up to where it's supposed to be, I think it's Dolph Ziggler. But anyway, but you was talking about the fans. You actually saw the fans, not just that match, but the whole show.
Right.
The fans actually getting into it.
They was getting into it, man.
That you don't see that
memories. No, you don't. That kind of brought back memories of the Attitude Era when you'd hear the fucking glass break and you'd hear Stone Cold coming out. I mean, that's how loud it was, man, when Dolph won that match, or even when he came out to cash the Money in the Bank in. Man, I was like, damn. That's the loudest I've heard it in a long time for a Raw.
It felt like a super Ring of Honor crowd, or a super ECW crowd.
Just a lot
old school
people.
ECW. Yeah,
exactly, man. It was pumped.
Yeah, it was good. I wish they could all be like that.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of things here to come on our show here. We're going to come with you each week with a top 5 list.
Right.
2 top 5 lists, 2 top 5s per person, and we're going to discuss about that and discuss our thoughts and our views on pro wrestling, and just really tell you the stuff that maybe a lot of people want to talk about, but they don't, are scared to talk about, or think that maybe people think they're dumb as fuck. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you how it is.
Exactly. Speaking of how it is, man, did you hear the fucking good news?
What is that?
Oh, man. I know people out there know this already, and I am super fucking pumped about this. The Hall of Fame next year, finally, Martha Hart and WWE came.
We hope.
We hope, yeah. We hope. I hope it's nobody kicking my leg out of my leg, or pulling my leg, should I say. But
see if y'all know what that means.
Yeah, Martha Hart came with an agreement with WWE, and Owen Hart, ladies and gentlemen, will be in the Hall of Fame next year.
And that's going to be something because
about fucking time.
Me and this man right here used to order every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Even that, which Over the Edge 1999, that was part in your house. We always even got the in your house. They were actually cheaper at the time.
Yeah, they was.
And we were watching live, and we knew something was up. Filming the audience and all that. And we actually saw. We didn't see. I mean, nobody
saw it.
Nobody except for the people that were in the audience saw the actual.
Yeah, the actual accident.
The actual accident.
We was on the phone together, remember?
Yes.
And I was talking to you, and I was saying, "What do you think, man?" And he was saying the same thing. I don't know. What do you think?
It's when JR got on and said, this is not part of the storyline, and it showed Jerry Lawler sitting back down.
Yeah, you kind of knew.
Jerry Lawler had been.
Jerry Lawler's face.
Yeah, he had been in the ring.
Yeah, at first I was like, man, it's got to be part of the act. And then when they came out and made that announcement, I was like, nah, man, this is too real.
Right.
But finally,
the word is he will be
in Hall of Fame next year, and I just think that is fucking awesome.
Long time. I mean, if they did it with the Bruno Sammartino thing, they can do it with Owen Hart.
Because you know how big I am. I'm a Bret Hart fan.
Yes.
And I love.
You won't find a bigger Bret Hart fan than this guy right here.
Yeah, and I love his brother Owen, man. I think Bret and Owen had some fucking classic matches, man. But anyway, we got us a top 5 countdown, man. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it. This is this week. April 17th, 2013, top 5 countdown. This week, we're going to go with our top 5 wrestlers that either should have been or that needs to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and our reasons why behind that. Right. So we're going to go back and forth, our number 5s. Dustin, I'm going to go ahead and tell you my number 5, the Midnight Express. And you can look at that. You can put Dennis Condrey in there as well. I didn't like Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey as well as Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. I think it should be Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane with, of course, Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette is one of the, if not the greatest managers of all time. I mean, somebody that can talk on a microphone without having to have a script, and even make his mess ups look good.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
So I think the Midnight Express have got to be in there.
Yeah.
Dustin?
My number 5, I went with the man. I love this guy, and I really, really believe he should be in the Hall of Fame, and that was Lex Luger.
Yes. And probably will never be And let's tell
Just
him why.
because of what he did, you know.
First episode of Nitro.
Yep. Leaving the business, coming into WCW.
He actually gave Jim Ross, for those of you who don't know, he gave Jim Ross his word, just a handshake, that he was going to be back with the company.
Right.
They promised him a long time ago they was going to put the title on him. They kept making him win against Yokozuna, who was champion, but it was wins via count out, via disqualification. So then he shows up unannounced on the first Nitro, which he probably
It
won't
seemed
ever
like
get
to
in.
you the way that WCW handled Bret Hart when Bret Hart went to WCW. It seems like the same thing happened to Lex Luger when he went to WWE. They just didn't know what to do with it.
They didn't. The All-American thing and all that.
The
You know,
narcissist.
Lex Luger was a 5-time United States champion in WCW. Held each title reign lasted almost a year.
Basically,
I mean, you just can't deny stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And what I'm trying to tell you people is Lex Luger should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. What about your number 4?
My number 4, and I know you probably got this guy a lot higher on yours, so I'm going to let you talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, rest in peace, Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, man. Macho Man Randy Savage.
But, you know, he's another one that rubbed Vince the wrong way.
Right, same thing with Left kind of,
Yeah.
But, I mean, come on, man. I mean, you got to have this guy in the Hall of Fame, basically.
Of course.
Jesus Christ, the guy, how many times world champion?
Oh, multiple-time world champion. 2 times in WWE, multiple-time WCW champion.
Yeah.
I'm thinking why he's not in the Hall of Fame yet. Freak out.
What are you talking about, man? You gotta tell me right now.
Yeah.
Oh man, Macho Man, the fucking greatest, man. I love Macho Man. When I heard about his passing, man, that shook me up, man. That shook me up bad.
He was one of the bigger names that kind of took you by surprise.
As far as deaths go in the wrestling business, I don't think no one's hitting me as hard as that dude. They hit me pretty hard that day.
The Benoit Guerrero was kind of out there.
Yeah. It hit me pretty hard. But anyway, my number 4, I have the Steiner brothers.
Nice. Rick and Scott.
Why they're not in the Hall of Fame, I have no fucking clue.
You know, there's only been, you can count the brothers tag team champions on one hand. You know, you had the Funks, you had the Briscoes, Harlem Heat, and you had the Steiner brothers, which the Steiner brothers could actually wrestle.
Yeah.
They were all Americans at the University of Michigan.
They could wrestle. They could put on
They could wrestle.
And I used to love their matches.
You know, Rick Steiner wasn't all there, but he didn't need to be.
No, he didn't.
It was perfect the way it was.
Really
Scott Steiner, when he got on the roids, and
that seems like that kind of.
he started talking like he sounded like he had a mouthful of marbles.
He really did, man.
And
seems like right after that, man, it kind of.
yeah.
But I really
a tag team.
Yeah,
right?
I really think as a tag team, man, they should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What you got for number 3, man?
Number 3 I have, and I mean, these are for our hardcore fans right here. Not hardcore, like true wrestling fans. Gary Hart.
Yes.
Gary Hart, manager of the Great Muta, managed Al Perez, managed Koloffs for a while, managed a lot of teams in the NWA, WCW, was mostly known for World Class Championship Wrestling. Manager in World Class Championship Wrestling. Passed away in 2008, I believe.
2008, yeah.
I believe it was. And he was just one of those heel wrestlers. A good heel manager.
Right.
Very good heel manager. He would have made a great wrestler.
Sure, yeah, probably so, man. He was a great manager.
My
number 3, it could be tossed up with number 2. About what. I got Sting.
Sting, and I'm gonna let him say his piece about Sting, which I don't want to give nothing away, but I'll have something to add to that in a minute. But why'd you pick Sting?
Well, I mean, goddamn, man.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, all he's done for the business, man. I mean, I've heard stories about it. Don't get no classier than Sting as far as backstage and in the ring,
yes.
man. I kind of call them the WCW's version of Hulk Hogan. You know, you had Hogan doing his thing in WWE. You had Sting doing his thing in WCW, man, or NWA. You know, I thought Sting was, just I mean, all around, man. The guy could do anything. He needs to be in the Hall of Fame, folks. Why he's not in there, I have no clue. Well, I know.
Well, I'll get on. To that
we know why, but
I'll get on to that in a minute.
Yeah.
How about number 2? I have Ravishing Rick Rude.
I have Ravishing Rick Rude as well.
And let's talk a little bit about that, Dustin. Ravishing Rick Rude.
Ravishing Rick Rude. Let's see. Ravishing Rick Rude. Another one, man. Why he's not in the Hall of Fame, I have no fucking clue. Because that guy.
This goes back to the famous taped Raw live Nitro. He shows up on Raw. Raw's taped. He shows up live on Nitro. I think another one. I
broke the cord.
I guess when you rub Vince McMahon the wrong way, you kind of sign your life away there.
Exactly, man. But the only wrestler besides Macho Man
that could make
Ultimate Warrior look good.
Yes.
WrestleMania 5. Warrior's out there trying to do his thing, but Rick Rude, man,
Rick Rude could do that with a lot of people.
He could, man. Rick Rude, he really could. He could put you over in a heartbeat, man. He make you look fucking great.
I mean, he should have been in the Hall of Fame yesterday.
I have no idea why. I know, like I said, we know why.
This is the Lex Luger thing, and we didn't say it, but Medusa, or Alundra Blaze, she come on stage and put the women's title in the trash can.
Right.
But still, bury the hatchet. I mean, these people deserve to be remembered and recognized as a Hall of Famer.
Exactly.
If you're gonna put Coco Beware in the Hall of Fame, you definitely need to put Ravishing Rick Rude.
And honorable mention, my number 2, Rick Rude, and my number 1 was Macho King. But honorable mention, man, Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake Roberts. DDP. Yes, Scott Hall. And back to my number 1 here, of course, Sting. And I may be being a little bit biased because he is my all-time favorite wrestler. This is my guy. I watched many house shows at the Coliseum from when I was 5 years old on up. Saw him at TNA at the Coliseum. This is a guy that has busted his ass, and this is a guy that is a Christian, a guy that loves to put over young talent.
Yeah.
A guy that will take young talent aside and bust his ass to show them the way. He always talks about he loves the smell of popcorn in the arena. And to a couple of guys that I used to work with, what about the red blood cells? Get the red blood cells going. It's showtime! Yep. They're not going to, from what I hear, they're not going to let Sting in until he has finished his obligations with TNA. Right. Which he is in the TNA Hall of Fame. TNA has just started their Hall of Fame. He was the first member in.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the matches, Sting and Ric Flair, of course, the first class champions.
Oh, man. It's just some classics. Fucking classics, man.
He was a man's man. Is a man's man. And he will just always go down. He's getting up to be a 14, 15-time world champion. He's won so many world title belts.
It is simply amazing, man. I just love to, pop back on the couch, man, put some Clash of the Champions on, and just sit back with Sting and Ric Flair, and just don't get no.
And what was good was, they caught, and this is this is the shoot right here for Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff saw something that was happening when Hulk Hogan, right before the NWO come out, Hulk Hogan was coming out and was starting to get booed.
Right.
And that's what started the whole changing Hogan to heel NWO thing.
Yeah.
They caught that before it happened to Sting. It wasn't happening to Sting, but they caught it before it happened.
Right.
And that's what caused the Crow transformation, which worked and which was amazing.
It worked. Yes, it did. And he knew how to... This guy was...
He used to always say... I even remember Halloween Havoc 1990, an interview with Jim Ross where he said, Ross, I'm a sucker when it comes to seeing little kids face painted up like mine, haircut like mine. So, he's just...
He did it all.
He is, no disrespect to Lex Luger, but Sting was and is the total package.
Yes, he really is, man. That's who you have for number 1, of course.
Yes, number 1.
All right, well, that's our countdown, man. And next Wednesday will be the top 5 greatest
WCW matches.
NWA matches.
Yes, we're going to go back to about 1997, but we are going to stop at about 98 because, it got kind of crazy in WCW there for a little while. So we're going to have you a countdown with that. Also, we're going to recap WWE's Raw, SmackDown, and TNA action that happens. And we're going to have a little special about Ring of Honor next week. We didn't talk a lot about Ring of Honor.
No.
And we're going to have a special about Ring of Honor and some of the guys that me and Dustin both think are going to be big superstars in the NWA.
Right. This will be an every Wednesday thing.
In the ROH, excuse me.
So this will be every Wednesday thing, folks.
This is every Wednesday. We will post it, and hopefully you'll watch it. So once again, he's Dustin Mcknight.
He's Matt Smith.
And we are wrestling the best in the world.
No doubt about it, folks. See you next Wednesday.
Goodbye.